Bob Hawkins here with ICPI agency still at the Texas IADA conference. Well, it's all over. You can hear the noise in the background. They're putting up the tables. We might be the last booth here, but I didn't want it to go by with having a good conversation with my new friend Scott Carlson. What Scott does is he helps dealers to step out of, dealers are really kind of comfortable, you're highly engaged in business, you're there all the time, you don't go home till 9 o'clock at night, and the business runs around you, and you can't get bigger because you're giving it all you got. And one of the way you're going to overcome that is to be able to take what you know and be able to create a system by which others who work for you can make the kind of decisions, particularly the credit decisions that you're going to make to that credit underwriting process to make good credit underwriting decisions. So Scott with AutoZoom. Scott, tell me what you do to help dealers.
What we do is we build custom fit scoring models that enables the dealership to move away from being personality driven business to systems driven, and take what the dealer has learned over his career of matching the right credit worthiness with the right deal structure, and put it into a system that's online. It gives the dealer the ability to set benchmarks numerically and say, if the customers fit certain criteria, don't bother me. If you've got the deal structured correctly, don't bother me. And it takes about 80% of the load of underwriting off of the dealership.
Now, when you're saying personality, really, that just means that business is centered around one person, and they don't have a system. Everything is a choke point going to that one person.
The reason I know that, I've been there, I lived that. I've started in 1969 in BHPH.
So you've been in the car business in some way all your life. Right?
Yeah, let's not talk about my age. Okay?
And so tell me about how you build that model. How do you start?
Well, we have an extensive background in BHPH, and what we do is take all the data that we've had to date over the last 15 years of building AutoZoom, and we do an extensive interview with the dealer, and we find out what their objectives are, their capital structures, things like that, and we build a model specific to them to get a specific performance in their paper, in their receivables.
Okay, so you've got the model built. How do you measure the quality of that model?
Well, what we have is measurements that measure the quality of the customer, and then the quality of how you're structuring the deal, and then you come into a third score we call total score, and you're able to advise your employees that if they reach certain benchmarks and thresholds of score, then they can just do the deal, and they like that because they have a proven track to run on. That they're not going to get second guessed by upper management.
So that sounds like a flow chart almost. So if we make this step and this step and this step, we know the boss is going to approve the deal. If we know if we've done these things, we gather the correct steps and things like that, then the boss is going to approve it and we can rest easy.
Well, the boss doesn't ultimately approve it. The system never makes the decision, but the thresholds that they set say, hey, this is the deal you can do without upper management.
Gotcha.
Falls below that, you've got to get upper management involved.
Gotcha.
And then the dealer, in the end, can ultimately know through their own repossession analytics and everything what they can depend on as far as repo economics and impact and repo rate and frequency and things like that.
So let me ask you this, Scott. Does one model work for everybody?
No. We custom design a model for each dealer specific to them and their needs.
Okay. So you've got a baseline to start with,
yes,
which is kind of the way the industry works. And it sounds like you've got a real interview process to get at that dealer and the way they do business and their specific geographic market.
Absolutely.
And how
considers all of that.
How that works. So, so how long you guys been in business again?
Since 2002, 15 years.
About how many customers is that?
We put over 800 clients on the service.
Over 800 clients are using the service. That's a lot of data. That's an enormous amount of data.
Yeah, in fact, our clients have scored over 2 million deals through the system. They've contracted over 1 million deals, which represents about $15 billion worth of loans being originated by dealers using AutoZoom.
Right. Well, I know that's a lot of customers, and I think it'd be hard to say there's a single takeaway, but give me a couple of takeaways from that, having that much experience, looking at that many customers over a long period of time.
Well, the takeaway for the dealer?
Well, the takeaway, yeah, for the dealer.
Yeah, what most of the dealers learn is that there's things they didn't know about their business they didn't know, and they didn't know about underwriting. And they also learned that possibly they had they were underwriting to too low of a repo rate, or maybe too high a repo rate, or maybe they were operating in too narrow a wholesale footprint range, and maybe they didn't know how to capture the higher quality customer, the credit quality customer, by reducing their down payments to meet the expectations of that higher credit quality customer.
Right. Okay. So all those things, if we can measure them, it sounds like it amounts to attracting higher quality customers, and maybe even in some cases more low quality customers, if that's what
Yeah,
you want.
if your business
supports that, and making more sales, being able to step away from the business more often, and perhaps maybe that has an impact on dealers' marriages.
Well,
even.
yeah. If you look at our sign down there, it says.
Oh, you got that right there?
Yeah, make your spouse happy. Yeah, because
get life back, make life happy.
Yeah, one of the things that we then I grew up in Bayou Creek, spent all my life in it, and I found that the more locations you had, the less quality time you had with your family. And so, you either want to shrink your business, or you need to delegate responsibilities, and you want to get life. So you want to have a nice balance of life and business together.
Right. How does a dealer get in touch with you? And specifically, there's an interview out there on your website, about a 30-minute interview that you had with, who's the guy you had it with?
Beto Paredes.
Okay. And I heard that interview before you suck. You've got to hear the interview that Scott has. It goes much deeper in what we just highlighted. Scott, how do we do that?
To contact me, you can reach me direct on my cell phone, 817-991-2652. Or if you want to learn more about AutoZoom, just go to autozoom.com. That's AUTOZOOM.com. I text. You can email me at scottcarlson@autozoom.com. Text me, call me. You can reach me around the clock. I may not be able to call you back after hours, but I will at least get your message, and I will get back in touch with you.
Okay, so I don't know did you say the name of the website?
Autozoom.com.
Autozoom.com. Sorry, I'm tired of people. I can't help it.
There you go.
But thank you, Scott.
Thank you, sir.
Let's get people in touch with you.
Okay.
You've got to hear what he's got to say. It could be life changing for you as a dealer. If you're burned out, it's time to find another way. Bob Hawkins with ICPI Agency at the 2017 TIADA conference, and I'm telling you, it's a wrap. I mean, take a look at it. They're really wrapping the thing up. It's done.
It's over.
It's over. It's time to go back home. All right.
Oh, tell them, hey, they can get a copy of the book if they call me too.
Oh yeah, you got to have a copy of the book.
Stalwart Lot Rat.
The Stalwart Lot Rat, and yes, he really was a lot rat at one point in his life. So you want to say something about that real fast?
No, that's quite all right.
Okay.
Just get the book.
Read the book.
Me.